I've just taken my course off Udemy and I wanted to make a video to explain why. For anybody that's not familiar with Udemy, this is a very, very popular site for courses for online learning. They have hundreds, if not thousands, of different courses, and people can access these courses very easily and study them online. And people say you can't argue with popularity, and maybe you can't, but I'm going to try. So I thought, well, if you can't beat them, join them. I have my course, Fast Track English, the best English course out there, in my opinion, and I thought it deserves to be on Udemy. So initially, I looked at the other courses that were available on Udemy to see if it would be a good fit. To my horror, I saw that there were English courses on there which were maybe anything up to 20 hours of content. Huge amounts of content that has clearly taken people a long time to create. And they were giving this away for £20. I felt demoralized. I felt sad. But then I thought, well, maybe that's the way. Maybe that's where I ought to be. And I looked into a possibility of adapting my course to stagger it so that you could at least get the first 4 units, the first part of the elementary as a Udemy course. And then hopefully people would sign up and then they would buy the rest of the course at the proper price, the actual value of what it really is worth, which was not a lot. You're talking £16 for a unit. It's taken me many weeks to create and a lot of professional content. Anyway, the Udemy system requires you to upload all of your course. It then requires you to set the price at a ridiculously low rate, of which Udemy themselves take 73% of the revenue. So you're getting a fraction of the revenue and Udemy are getting the bulk of it. And I thought, well, okay, if they're going to be promoting and selling this course, then as a way of gaining some kind of market and traction, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's not costing me anything to list it. Maybe that's a good way of doing it. So I did that. I listed the first 4 units of my course. And I listed it at the price that they suggested, and I waited to see what happened. Nothing happened. Nobody bought the course. When I went back to check several times why, it was because nobody could find the course. It was listed at the bottom of any kind of search. Very, very difficult to find. And Udemy themselves had inflated the cost price and were making people pay £40 or more for my course. Well, of course, nobody was going to buy a course at that price when it's surrounded by courses at £20. But the reason why they'd done it was because there was then the option to subscribe to Udemy and get my course for free. I would get a nominal payment from that. Udemy would get all the payment from the subscription. So basically they were just using my intellectual property, my course, my content to sell subscriptions for their site. They were massively inflating the price and manipulating it in order to encourage people to buy subscriptions and then throwing me a few pence for my trouble. A very grubby and degrading experience, a really unprofessional way of having to sell your course. I could see now why people who had told me not to bother had said that. It was horrible. So I said, right, I'm not going to do this. It doesn't work anyway. It's not selling courses. I went on to a search to find out if there was anything that I wasn't doing that I ought to be doing to sell courses on there. And they said, yeah, you should be doing the marketing to attract the custom to your course. I thought, well, if I'm going to do the marketing, I'm going to sell it at the full price. I'm going to send it to my own website where it's all listed. people can access and watch the course for the full price. Why would I do the selling as well? It made no sense whatsoever. So I thought, right, this is a waste of time. I'm not a sales rep. I'm not online to just be spending all my day trying to flog courses at stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap prices. So I tried to come off the site, Udemy. Well, of course, it wouldn't let me delete my account. It wouldn't let me close my account. I went through all the processes. It said, oh, you still have some balance, so therefore we can't close it. I said, well, give me the balance. It wouldn't do. It put me to a search bot. I was putting, in the end, I just gave up. I deleted the course. It's off Udemy. I'm going to go through whatever process they dictate to finally get myself removed from there. And I'm not going to be using their site anymore. The bottom line of the whole thing is, these large companies, these corporations are making ridiculously huge amounts of money and are very, very popular. And it's very difficult, as I said at the beginning, to argue with popularity. To the mass market, people would say, well, if people are prepared to list their courses and sell them on such a site, why shouldn't we go on there and buy them? Dirt cheap courses. And there may be an argument for that. I don't know. Maybe there are some people out there who are getting rich off Udemy. I don't know. Maybe they are finding a wide audience and doing well and it's meeting their targets. I don't know. All I can say is to share my own experience and say why I came off the site. This really, I suppose, is more for other content creators. If you're tempted to go on there and flog your course, I would say if you've got a cheap, easy, quick to make course and you don't mind making it under the terms and conditions that they suggest, then maybe you can make it work for you. I don't know. And if you can, then good luck to you. But if you're somebody who's already created a professional course with a lot of good quality content and you want to be fairly recompensed for your efforts, then I would say avoid Udemy like the plague. And if you're somebody who is looking to buy a course, then would you want to be buying a course where you know that the person who's created it is only getting a tiny fraction of the money and this organization, this big corporation is getting the bulk of it? I don't know. If that doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But personally, I would rather go to an individual and pay them for their effort and their hard work. Okay, so that's my Udemy experience. I'd love to know what other people's comments are on this. If you disagree with me, then that's fine. That's great. I mean, I'm taking a strong stance on this. I doubt if many people have got the balls to speak out about somebody like Udemy in such a direct way. They probably don't. But anyway, let me know what you think. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, maybe Udemy might think about, is it a fair way of treating people? I don't know. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this rant of a video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.